So in today's video, I'm going to discuss what is the major difference between programming for engineering and programming for typical computer type of situations such as developing apps or creating web pages or developing databases, software, operating systems, and so on. And essentially what I'm trying to tell you is that scientific programming or engineering programming is much more difficult, and there is a huge requirement of being meticulous when it comes to scientific programming and engineering programming. And I have realized this difference in the programming styles over the last couple of decades as I see that the students have developed a very different mindset when it comes to programming. And this is largely because of the prevalence of apps and such software situations where it is possible to bring out a so-called beta version. Now, if you take a typical app, an operating system, or one of these kind of software packages, then you will see that typically the companies will bring out a beta version, and this is a version which is an early version of a final program or app, and this contains many novel features, and it is actually released to a small set of people or sometime even to the public at large, and the aim is to make sure that these people help in the testing of this particular app and provide feedback, and then this beta version is fixed, various bugs are removed, and then a final release is brought out. Now, this is a very good system for developing apps, for developing different type of software packages and so on. But the big problem lies in the fact that when you are typically developing engineering software, you do not have the possibility of bringing out a beta version. So let's look at certain situations to illustrate this concept. Let's say you are developing a flight control system software for an airplane. Now, if there are any mistakes in this software, you can have catastrophic consequences for the airplane. Similarly, if you are developing a software which predicts the stresses, strains, and the remaining life, the fatigue life of a bridge, then again you cannot make mistakes here. You cannot have any beta version. Your software will probably be used to predict the final design of this system, and therefore there is no room for mistakes at this point. Now, I have been seeing in the last couple of years or the last 5 years or so that many students question the grading in homework assignment and exams. So for example, if you give a very simple problem involving calculation of stresses from strain and you are using certain equations here, so what they will do is they will do the problem and then they will say, if they have not come up with the correct answer, that the answer is only slightly different. Maybe they did not use the right value of certain material properties such as Poisson ratio or Young's modulus. Maybe instead of gigapascal they put in megapascal values or something like that. But they deserve maybe 90% of the points because they got the basic equation right and they have written a program and it has given them these results, and all they have to change is the IO in the program and the program will work fine. Now, the problem with this approach is that if you are using this particular software to design a bridge, design an aircraft, design a car or any such thing, then the kind of mistakes which you are making will have catastrophic consequences in terms of the life of people. And in fact, if you are designing something very sensitive such as a power plant or a submarine, then it could result in large scale loss of life. So again, this is something to remember, that as far as engineering software is concerned, it is not the same as developing a dating app, and you cannot create bugs in the code and then later sort them out with the help of feedback from the customers and the clients. Bugs in the code can actually cause catastrophic failure for engineering software. For example, let us take a situation that you are designing a structure and the code you have developed predicts the frequencies of the structure. Now, one of the things in structural design is that you need to keep the frequencies of the structure sufficiently far away from the forcing frequencies. So this prevents a phenomenon known as resonance, which can cause catastrophic damage in the structure. Now, if you have not predicted these frequencies properly due to some bugs in the code, then your structure is going to be badly designed and you may actually encounter a failure situation in the structure. And the structure could be something very big. It could be a bridge. It could be a gas turbine. It could be an engine in a jet or something like that. And therefore, you need to be especially careful when you are doing engineering software, because nowadays it's quite normal to design a product straight away from engineering software without necessarily doing a test or a prototype. So again, especially in some cases where the situation may not be very dangerous, people sometimes take the software, do some basic simulations with it, get the predictions, and then proceed to design this thing, maybe print it out in a 3D printing type of situation and then deploy this system. So again, some of the facts to remember is that you should be very meticulous when writing code for engineering software, because you should always remember that this is not a beta version. Check any situation you have with closed form solutions. So in many cases, if you are developing a numerical algorithm, there are probably closed form solutions for the problem. And these have come from mathematical derivations and solutions. And these may not be exactly the case which you are designing for, but they may be close to a case. So you may be designing a problem for a tapered beam, but there may be a closed form solution for a uniform beam. So at least make sure that you match with this particular uniform beam results. Also, in many cases, there are solutions in the published literature. So if you have developed a certain software, use it to predict something which you see in the published literature. For example, you find a paper where a problem for a stepped beam or a quadratic beam has been solved. Take this particular set of material properties and geometric properties, put it in your code and make sure that you get these same values so that you are confident about your software. Because some simple typing mistakes and bugs in your program can give wrong results and lead to wrong designs. Also, remember that whenever you make some small changes in some parameters, the changes in your output should be relatively small. So for example, if I'm going from a uniform beam to a very slightly tapered beam, the natural frequency should change very slightly. And therefore, if you have made a mistake in the code, you will find that if you go from the uniform beam to the very slightly tapered beam, you will encounter substantial changes in some frequency, and this is a clear mark that there is a bug in the code. So again, many times these kind of validation studies of comparing with closed form solutions, published literature, also slightly changing the model from where a closed form solution is known can bring out various bugs in the problem. And it is very important to find these bugs at this particular stage so that you do not have a problem in your design, because very frequently this kind of engineering software is directly used in optimization problems, in reliability based and robust design optimization problems, and then the final design is essentially prototyped and sometime it is shipped out, and people do not necessarily have the time or the money to make expensive prototypes and to test them. So that is sometimes done for very large systems and very expensive systems, but not necessarily for much smaller systems where cost is a constraint. So again, all scientific software people should remember that there is no beta version in scientific software, and they should be very meticulous and thoroughly check all their codes before they essentially use these codes for predicting things which may have very important consequences. So I hope you enjoyed this video and stay tuned to my channel for more such videos. Thank you very much.